How long would you give a baby to learn how to walk before you told it to just give up? A month, 3 months, 6 months, a year? Of course, the question is ridiculous. You would not. You would let them try and fall and cry and pull themselves back up over and over again. You would encourage them, you'd hold their hands, you'd celebrate the tiniest, wobbliest first step. You do all this because you know with absolute certainty that as long as they keep trying, they will succeed and eventually walk. That persistence is the secret ingredient. So, let me ask you a different question. How long do you give yourself? When you're trying something new, something that is hard, something that feels impossible, how many times will you let yourself fall before you decide that maybe this just is not for you? You're here because you're tired. You're pouring your heart and soul into something, a project, a business, a new skill, a dream, and you're getting nothing but silence in return. The world just isn't reacting the way you would hope it would. And all of those long nights, early mornings, and missed weekends, they're starting to feel like sacrifices made at an empty altar. If you feel that way, you're not alone. Recent surveys show that worker burnout is at an all-time high, with some studies finding well over half of employees feel completely burned out. You like no one sees you, that you are unappreciated. And now you're starting to believe that tiny voice in your head that whispers, "What is the point? No one would even notice if you were to stop." You're looking for a sign from the universe, a signal that you should keep going, or maybe permission to finally let go. Well, this is it. This is your sign. But it is not what you think. It's not a flash of lightning or a sudden check in the mail. It's a choice. It is a decision right now to listen to a different voice for the next few minutes. It's an invitation to reframe your whole story you have been telling yourself. Because you are on the verge of a breakthrough, and the only thing that can stop it now is you. The exhaustion you feel is not failure. It's the price of admission for doing something great. The silence isn't rejection. It's the world holding its breath, waiting to see what you do next. You need to hear 3 things right now. Not empty hype, but 3 truths that will validate your struggle and fuel your next step. These are the reminders that will turn this moment of doubt into the turning point you have been working toward. Your past is your blueprint, not your cage. First, I want you to do something that sounds a little weird. Stop looking forward for a moment. I know you're desperate for a glimpse of the finish line, but your obsession with what's next is blinding you to the power you've already built. We need to look back, not with regret, but with the focused eye of an archaeologist. It is time to excavate your own journey. Reflection isn't about dwelling on the past, it's about digging for evidence. Evidence of your strength, your resilience, and your growth. See, right now, your brain is probably focused on the negative. That's a normal survival instinct. It remembers the stumbles and rejections because it's trying to protect you from future pain. But that protective instinct, if you let it run the show, it becomes a prison. It builds walls of self-doubt and convinces you that past failures are proof of future failures. They're not. They're data. Your journey up to this point is a rich, detailed blueprint of the person you've become. And it's time you learned how to read it. So I want you to grab a piece of paper or open a new note and do what I call a victory audit. List every single win you can remember from the last year. And I mean every win. Did you finally make that scary phone call? That's a win. Write it down. Did you stick to a new habit for more than a week? A win. Did you drag yourself out of bed on a day when it felt impossible? Yay, a massive win. Did you learn a new piece of software? Finish a chapter of a book? Handle a difficult conversation without losing your cool? Win, win, win. These aren't small things. They are the building blocks of every great achievement. We dismiss these steps, but each one is a brick you laid in the foundation of your future self. And this isn't just feel-good talk. There's real science here. Research from Harvard Business School found that people who track their small achievements daily significantly enhance their motivation, Why? Because every time you acknowledge a win, no matter how small, your brain releases a little bit of dopamine. That chemical hit that makes you feel good and tells your brain, hey, let's do that again. By ignoring your small wins, you're literally starving your brain of the motivation it needs to keep going. Celebrating these victories isn't about ego. It's a strategic, neurological tool to maintain momentum. Now, for part 2 of the audit. Look at your setbacks, your failures, but don't look at them as stains. Look at them as lessons you paid for. That client you lost, it taught you what your ideal client is not. That project that flopped, it taught you which market not to enter. That pitch that got rejected, it gave you invaluable feedback. Stop calling them failures. Call them tuition. You paid for that knowledge with your time and energy. Don't let that tuition go to waste by bearing the lesson in shame. What would you do differently next time? What new skill do you need? What assumption turned out to be wrong? This is how you turn past lessons into future strategies. You're not starting from scratch every day. You're starting from experience. The person who woke up this morning is smarter and stronger because of everything you've been through. Your past isn't a cage. It's the blueprint, showing you exactly what to build next. The architecture of your breakthrough. The second truth is all about changing how you see the future. If your past is the blueprint, your goals are the architecture. But most of us treat goal setting like a wish list. We throw vague desires into the universe. I want to be successful. I want to be happy. And then get frustrated when our dream life doesn't magically appear. This isn't a game of wishes. It's a game of construction. You are both the architect and the builder. That feeling of being overwhelmed, it usually comes from staring at the finished cathedral of your dream with no idea how to lay the first stone. The gap just feels too big. So, let's shrink the timeline. Forget the 5 or 10-year plan for now. Let's just focus on the next 12 weeks. This idea, often called the 12-week year, is a game changer because it creates real urgency. A whole year feels like forever. You can always start next month. But 12 weeks? That's just 3 months. It's close enough to feel real. And it forces you to get serious about your priorities. So here's your task. What is the one thing you could accomplish in the next 12 weeks that would make the biggest difference? Not 10 things. 1, maybe 2, tops. This is your cornerstone. Now, you have to turn that goal from a wish into a project. This is where that old acronym, SMART, is actually your best friend. Your goal needs to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. I want to grow my business is a wish. I will get 5 new clients for my web design business by sending 50 personalized emails a week for the next 12 weeks is a plan. See the difference? One is passive, the other is an active roadmap. It breaks the giant goal into small, daily actions that feel completely doable. And when you hit those daily goals, you get that little dopamine kick we talked about, which builds momentum. But there's a crucial layer here that most people miss. The goal has to be meaningful to you. Psychologists talk about 2 kinds of motivation: extrinsic, for external rewards like money or praise, and intrinsic, because the act itself is satisfying or aligns with your values. External rewards are great, but studies show over and over that intrinsic motivation is the key to long-term persistence. If you're chasing money but you hate the process, you will burn out. It's just a matter of time. So before you set that 12-week goal, ask yourself, what do I actually value? Creativity? Freedom? Connection? Growth? Your goals must be an expression of these values. When your work lines up with what you truly believe, it stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling like a purpose. That purpose is the why that will power you through the tough time. So, design your architecture with intention. Make it specific, make it actionable, and most importantly, make it yours. Stop building someone else's dream. Your breakthrough won't happen by accident. It will happen because you designed it, step by step, brick by brick. the beauty of the unfinished masterpiece. And that brings us to the third, and maybe the most important, truth. You've looked at your past as a blueprint. You've designed the architecture for your future. Now, you have to fall in love with the construction site. You have to embrace the messy, liberating truth of progress, not perfection. This is where the real battle is won. Because the space between starting and finishing is chaotic. It's filled with dust and debris and days where it feels like you're going backward. And perfectionism is that toxic voice that tells you the mess is a sign of failure. It whispers that if it's not perfect, it's not worth doing. That is the biggest lie on this journey. Think of a sculptor. Does their statue look perfect after the first swing of the hammer? It's a jagged, ugly block. The sculptor spends 99% of their time just chipping away, making a mess, creating something that looks nothing like the final product. But every chip of the hammer is progress. The masterpiece isn't born in one perfect moment. It's revealed through thousands of imperfect actions. You are the sculptor. Your life's work is your block of marble. You have to be willing to make a mess. You have to be willing to create flawed drafts, launch imperfect versions, and have awkward conversations. That's where the real learning and growth happens. This is what people mean when they talk about a growth mindset. It's the belief that your abilities aren't fixed, that they can be developed through dedication and hard work. People with this mindset don't see mistakes as the end of the world. They see them as opportunities to learn. They understand the journey isn't a straight line. There will be setbacks. There will be detours. Sometimes you'll have to tear down a wall you just built because you realize it's in the wrong place. That's not failure. That's adapting. Pivoting isn't quitting. It's using new information to make a smarter decision. It's a sign of intelligence, not weakness. What matters is that you keep showing up, that you keep laying one more brick every single day. It's not about one heroic burst of energy. It's about the relentless, steady, day in, day out effort that builds empires. One brick, then another, then another. This requires a ton of self-compassion. On the days you fall, on the days you only lay half a brick, you can't treat yourself like the enemy. You have to be your own coach. Talk to yourself with the same encouragement you'd give that baby learning to walk. You wouldn't scream at it for falling. You'd say, "It's okay. Good try. Let's go again." You deserve that same grace. Your worth is not tied to the outcome of this one project. Your value as a person is inherent. This goal is something you do, not who you are. Separating your identity from your performance is the key to resilience. Your work, right now, is an unfinished masterpiece. And there is a profound beauty in that. It is throbbing with potential and lots of possibility. Don't let the fear of not being perfect stop you from the sacred act of creating it. The world doesn't need your perfection. It needs your contribution. It needs you to keep chipping away. CTA. So let's bring it all home. You came here looking for a sign, a reason to keep going. And here it is, broken down into 3 commitments to yourself. First, you're going to become an archaeologist of your own past. You'll run that victory audit, celebrate every single win to rewire your brain for motivation, and pull the priceless lessons from your setbacks. Next, you're going to be the architect of your own future. You'll trade vague wishes for a concrete 12-week plan, building your goals around what is truly and deeply meaningful to you. And finally, you're going to fall in love with the process. You'll embrace the beautiful, messy act of creation, choosing consistent progress over paralyzing perfection. You will be the sculptor who keeps chipping away day after day. This is your sign. It was never going to be a lightning bolt from the sky. The sign is the fact that you're still here. The sign is that part of you that, despite all the exhaustion and doubt, sought out this message. That part of you is your grit. That part of you knows what you're capable of. Your breakthrough isn't hiding around some corner. You are building it. With every small win you celebrate, every clear goal you set, and every imperfect action you take. You are building it right now. The journey is long, it is hard, and it is worth it. So pick up your tools. Lay the next brick. Don't you dare give up. The world is waiting to see what you build.